Breaking news, and it's not good. The Oklahoma City Thunder, my favorite to come out of the Western Conference, has just lost Chet Holmgren, and it's going to be a while before we see him back out on the floor. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. Now, let's take a look at what's going on. Shams Charania reporting Chet Holmgren has suffered a right iliac hip fracture. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV or anything like that. But a right iliac hip fracture. If you saw the play, Chet was going up to contestant Andrew Wiggins' run at the rim and landed very, very hard, was in a lot of pain. Return to play protocol for Chet will be provided in, 8 to 10 weeks. That means we're looking at mid-January. You know, I always say that reevaluate, which is essentially what Shams is talking about here, does not mean return. So it's going to be mid-January until we start to really get a sense of when exactly Chet will be back. That is a long time for the Thunder to be without a very important player in a very difficult Western Conference. Now, you take a quick peek at the Western Conference standings, and right now, again, I've got the Thunder as, if everybody is healthy, the top team in the West. Right now, they're in a three-way tie. They did lose earlier last night to the Golden State Warriors, but the Thunder at 8-2 right now, they are a fantastic, fantastic team, but very much not healthy. See, here's the problem. It is not just Chet Holmgren who is out. No. The guys who would play the most in the place of Chet Holmgren are also out. Jalen Williams, 4 to 6 weeks to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. That was from October 30th. So we're not going to see Jalen Williams till early to mid-December, and then again reevaluate. So it could even be late December. That's certainly possible. Going to have to ramp back up. Isaiah Hartenstein not going to be reevaluated probably for another week or two as he's recovering from a broken hand. Isaiah Hartenstein was the guy, one of the big signings of the offseason, one of the reasons why I had the Thunder as my favorite to come out of the West, because I think he gives them so much more depth and physicality at the center position. He would absolutely feast with Chet Holmgren out, but now it's going to be at least a few weeks before he returns as well. And then you go look at the Western Conference, you look at that playoff race. Again, it's going to be tight. The West is very, very good. It is not the East where you've got teams that are below 500 that are making the playoffs right now. No, the West is going to be an absolute battle all season long, and injuries can very much separate things. Look at the New Orleans Pelicans. They're a talented team. They're at 3-7 right now. Injuries could wind up being the separator in the Western Conference, and this injury to Chet Holmgren is going to hurt the Thunder a lot. Also worth noting that the Phoenix Suns are now without Kevin Durant, but for a shorter period of time, probably going to be a couple of weeks on him, who's dealing with a calf issue. But the Thunder now without Chet Holmgren, we're not going to see him until next calendar year, until 2025. And then again, best case scenario is maybe around the end of January. But how big of a deal is this? Well, let's take a look at the numbers and see what this really does to the Oklahoma City Thunder. With Chet Holmgren on the floor, the Thunder are quite frankly dominant with Chet Holmgren on the floor. Look at this. Net rating of 16.6. That means they're beating their opponents by 16.6 points per 100 possessions with Chet Holmgren on the floor. That is absolutely incredible. He makes a major impact. Look at that offensive rating, but even better, look at the deep. Good Lord. In this day and age, 97 points, 96.8 points per 100 possessions when Chet Holmgren is on the floor. That's absurd stuff from the Thunder. But look what happens when Chet Holmgren is out. Hey, you're still winning because the Thunder are still really, really, really talented, even though they don't even have any bigs now to throw on the floor, really. But Chet Holmgren, without him, plus 7.9. That's a big, I mean, you're talking about what, 8 points per 100 possession swing by Chet Holmgren being out. Your offensive rating drops to 109, down from 113.4 per 100. And then your defensive rating, again, was so fantastic, but goes up to 100, which is still good, 101.3. But Holmgren, 97. That is elite stuff. This is a big loss for the Thunder. Now, I don't want to suggest that the Thunder are suddenly going to just fall off the face of the earth. No, they're certainly not. This is not like the New Orleans Pelicans, who have 80% of their starting lineup out. They're 3-7. And even with Trey Murphy coming back soon, maybe even today, even with that, it's hard to see how the Pelicans are going to try to cobble together wins. Look, the Thunder are still, you still have SGA. You still have some really talented players. You've got a deep team here. You don't have bigs, but they do have the talent, I think, to still get this done. But you look at the schedule. Again, if this were an Eastern Conference team, maybe it'd be a little bit easier to sell that they're going to stay afloat. But the Clippers, like you face the Ivica Zubac has been fantastic, and you have to deal with them right away. Right away, you've got to deal with the Clippers, and you just lost Chet Holmgren. Can they still get the win? Absolutely. But you've got to deal with big Ivica Zubac, who's been wonderful. He's been a monster on the glass, and you got to deal with him. New Orleans, okay, they don't have a center, right? You've got Yves Missi, he's a rookie. You've got Daniel Tice. Okay, you can probably get by there. Yusuf Nurkic, you're dealing with, you've got a number of players that you're going to see against the Thunder that now we're going to have a better shot. You talk about Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively in Dallas. The NBA as a whole is worse off for this. San Antonio coming up in a week. We don't get to see Wemby versus Chet. Oh, I mean, that hurts my heart. That's such a fun matchup to get to watch, and we don't get to see that. Again, as you keep going through the month, you keep seeing these matchups where they could really use Chet Holmgren. We're not going to get to see Chet against Anthony Davis when they play at LA at the end of the month on Black Friday. You're not going to get to see him there. Going all the way through, this is not an easy schedule here for the Thunder. Western Conference teams don't get easy schedules. Against the Knicks, you're not going to have Holmgren for that. Now we get here towards the end of the season or the end of the month of January. This is where maybe Chet Holmgren's going to come back. Maybe he's back in time to see Golden State again in January at the end of the month. Maybe. And then the Thunder are going to have to really go on this run. Again, Isaiah Hartenstein, if he can get back in a week or two, that helps a lot. That helps a lot. That helps to paper over some of this. Is he as good as Chet Holmgren? No, but he can be a force on the glass, and he can definitely help you out. So that's how the Thunder can really stay afloat here. Let's say you can get Hartenstein back, especially if you can get him back before the matchup with the Lakers and Anthony Davis at the end of the month, which there's, you've got almost 3 weeks or so in order to make that happen. If they can do that, all right. But there's going to be some big-time matchups where you're missing Chet Holmgren, and they're going to be really wishing that they had him out there on the floor. He makes a huge impact. He's one of the rising young stars in the NBA. Again, a return of Isaiah Hartenstein will help a lot, but the Thunder can't withstand many more injuries. Again, they've got Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, and now Chet Holmgren. All three of their bigs, including one of their rising stars in Chet Holmgren, are now on the shelf. That is absolutely brutal for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Such a fun young team that I think has legitimate NBA title aspirations this season. And now they're going to be without him for a significant length of time. Certainly frustrating. The NBA, we've already seen so many injuries. John Morant is dealing with something right now. Kevin Durant is dealing with one. Anthony Davis suffered an eye injury early on last night. So many significant injuries that have hit the league already. Someone, please, turn the injuries off, go into the settings, turn off the slider for injuries so we can get this season going, because it feels like every night there's another big-time player that is going on the shelf. Zion Williamson, of course, I just talked about him and what his loss means for the New Orleans Pelicans, all kinds of stuff going on. But this is a major loss for the Oklahoma City Thunder. No Chet Holmgren. Everybody in the comment section, let me know what this is going to mean for OKC. Does this knock them off the top of the Western Conference? Is this enough to make it so they do not finish with the number one seed in the Western Conference? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe right here to this channel and check out my latest conversation with Donnie Freeman about the state of sports media. We had a really good time breaking down the things that are not right in the sports media world right now. So check that one out right now.